In this video, we're going to continue exploring the arrange window, and we're going to look at the audio bin. Now again, you can get to it from the media button and then pressing bin, or you can use the key command B for bin, to open and close it. So the bin is where you manage all the audio files and all the audio regions that are in your project. Right now we have 2 audio files that we've imported, and we're seeing them listed here. Let's take a little look at the architecture of the audio bin window. We have some menus on top here. You can add audio files by means of bringing them in to this bin window, and then they can either just remain here or you can add them to the arrange window. And there's a variety of commands here for deleting them, copying them, moving them, backing them up, importing, exporting, etc. And here we have some more commands, just basic cut, copy, paste, and select unused commands, which is very useful for cleaning up the bin and getting rid of regions that are generated erroneously, which you'll see how that happens as we move along. And some different view modes. You can view file info and sort by different means and create groups to have files grouped together, etc. Now this is the bin pop-up menu. There's also a standalone audio bin window that can be accessed under the window menu under audio bin, or command 9 is the key command for it. And that calls up a little bit more full featured version of the audio bin with a little bit more detail. Let's look at them both briefly. So here we have the names of the audio files, and these can be used to rename files and regions. And we have the names of the files there, and then we have the names of the regions associated with them there. And there are 2 regions for each file because we have them copied in the arrange window here. So we can rename as well here. Let's double click this, and I'm going to rename the entire thing. Let's call it Mixed Drums. And now it's shortened because originally the name had more than 32 characters, so the name got truncated when it was imported. So that's called Mixed Drums. And the .caf stands for Core Audio Format. That tells us the format that the file is in. And we can rename the regions. Let's call this Region A and Region B. And you see the names reflected there. So here we see information about the files. This gives us the sample rate and the bit depth, 44,100 samples per second, 16 bits. This icon indicates that it's an Apple loop, and this gives us the size of the audio file. Now in the full featured window, we get a little bit more information. We get all that information there, and we have the pathway for each file displayed next to the name. And you have a lock icon where we can lock and prevent changes from being made to the region definitions. Here, the file pathway is showed up here globally for the entire window, depending on what's selected. So if I select this file, it'll show us the pathway. It's in my audio drive in the folder called Logic 9 Explained, and in the project folder L9E, and then in the audio files folder. These all happen to be in the same place, but this would update if they were in different places. So let's bring in another audio file into the audio bin. We can bring them in using the key command Control-F or Add Audio File. And here I get the standard file selector, and I'm going to navigate to some of the vocal loops that we have from the Voices Jam Pack. I have my file selector already set to that area. I'm going to scroll here, and I think this is the one that I liked. Let me audition it. I can click the play button.
How long can I wait for you?
That'll work for me. So I'm going to go add, and now we can keep scrolling and adding additional files if we want to bring in multiple files at once. And there's some standard management buttons here for adding all or removing specific files, etc. But for now, I'm just going to bring this one file in. I'm going to click done, and there, it just brought it in and it copied it. The little copy box happened really quickly on the side there, but it brought it in and it copied it into my project folder because, as you recall, we set the assets to copy all the imported audio files into our folder here. So now I have this here, and it's in my session, but it's not in the actual arrange window. Now, I want to mention how these 2 windows, the arrange window and the audio bin, work differently in managing regions. Suppose I take this first clavinet part and I delete it. I hit the delete key in the arrange window. Okay, it's gone from my arrangement, but it's still here in the audio bin. So it's removed from the arrangement, but it still exists in the bin, so I can reuse this region definition later on if I choose to use it for whatever reason. Right now I'm going to use it, and I'm going to drag it back in and bring it there, and I can revert back to my former state. So when you delete something from the arrange window, it still exists in the region definition area of the audio bin so that you can have access to it. And similarly with audio files, if I delete an entire audio file from the arrange window, it'll still exist in the audio bin. So it's still in my project folder unless I specifically choose to delete it from the audio bin, which is a separate action. For now, let's bring this audio file into the arrange window. So I've imported it into my audio bin. Now, there are a couple of different ways of getting it into the arrange window. By the way, click hold here on these triangles to see the regions that are associated with each audio file. And you can option click to open all of them at once or close all of them at once. There's only 3 audio files, so it's not very cluttered, but when you have a lot of files, it's a good way of managing the display. So by default, when I brought in this audio file, there's one region created with the entire length of the file. So let's bring it in. I can control click on this and go add to arrange, and it'll add to where the playhead position is at the currently selected track. I don't want to do that right now because it'll put it on top of this funky clavinet region, which I don't want. I want it on a separate track. I can drag it in at the bottom of the arrange window like I did with the Apple loops, and it'll create a track there, and that's fine. Another way to do it is in the dedicated audio bin window, you can command click right on the region name, and what that'll do is it'll place it at the playhead position on the track. Let's close that up for now. Before I bring it in, I want to look at how to audition the files here. We can hit the space bar.
How long can I wait for you?
And start and stop play like that. Or we can hit the play button here.
How long can I wait?
And we have a loop button here if you want to hear it over and over again. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now, but you press that and it'll loop the region over and over again. And then we have the playback level here. And like the Apple loops that we saw earlier in one of the earlier videos, this is set on the pre-listen fader. So this value is different from any of the specific channel strip values. So for now, I'm going to drag it in underneath. And it created a new track and it brought it in there. So that's the audio bin. I'm going to place this a bit later. And we can hear this phrase. I want it probably a bit earlier. There's a little bit of a pickup. That should work. And let's lower this. And let's listen to that.
How long can I wait for you?
That'll work okay. So that's the audio bin. You can basically manage your audio files here and the regions. You can delete and rename them. Now watch what happens here. Suppose I shorten this. There's a bit of space at the end. I'm going to click the resize handle here and shorten this region. And you see here there's a bit of gray space. So this gives you a bit of a visual indicator of what portion of the audio file is being used in each specific region. And let's say I copy this region. We'll see here there's a new duplicate of it. And let's say I shorten it some more. And the front end also. We'll see here that it shows just the used portion there. Now this graphic is a bit more detailed in the main version of the audio bin window. Let me open it. And let's go here, audio bin. And you'll see here that those two regions show you a bit more graphic detail of the portion that's used and not used. One more word about the audio bin and deleting files. If you delete files from your arrange window here, they still exist in the audio bin. And if you hit delete in the audio bin, you'll get them out of your project, but they'll still exist on your hard drive. Now, if you want to delete them permanently from your hard drive, which I don't want to do right now, but what you do is you go under the audio file menu and you use delete file or files if you have multiple files selected, and that'll remove it permanently from your hard drive, or you can use the key command control with the delete key. So let's close this up, and we're going to end this video off with one last thing. Let's apply a channel strip setting to this. This is what it sounds like dry.
How long can I wait for you?
And now let's hit R, and we're going to switch right to the library. You don't need to close the bin first. You can just switch directly between them. And let's go to voices. Let's go to male voice, and we'll try one of these. And there it just called up some processing. Let me hit tab, so when I hit play now, it'll play from the arrange area and not anywhere else.
How long can I wait for you?
There you go. So the audio bin, experiment with it, and I'll see you for more next time.